Welcome to my channel, Love, Light, Liberty, and I'm your host, Rox Light. Tonight's full moon is full moon in Taurus, and we are Wednesday, November 5th. We are in Scorpio season right now, so the full moon is in Taurus because the full moon will always be in your opposite zodiac sign, and the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus. The Native Americans named November's full moon the Beaver Moon. As well as tonight is also a supermoon, which is one of three in the year of 2025. We had one in October, and this one in November, the second one, and the third one will be December. Tonight I'm going to go over the full moon and the new moon oracle cards, as well as the supermoon card for tonight. And then I'm going to go show you a mystery show and tell item for the month of November. And then the last thing will be our spooky ghost story. Sit back, relax, get yourself a cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to Show and Tell Stories, episode 11. And today is Wednesday, November 5th. And tonight is a beaver moon and also a super moon. Before we get started, I'm going to clear the space with my silver bell. And I've also cleared the space as well with some incense before I even got started. So there you go, you guys. So we're now in Scorpio season, but right now our full moon tonight is in Taurus, because that's the opposite of Scorpio. And I'm going to be using the Moonology Oracle card deck, pull these cards. Tonight's card says your dreams need a practical plan. Your dreams need a practical plan. And there we have the Taurus bull there. You see that? All right. Sometimes you need to weave a bit of magic, and sometimes you need to be practical. And sometimes you need to find a combination of the two. This card suggests that where you are now, you need to use the laws of attraction to draw in what you want by imagining it, expecting it, welcoming it. But you need to balance that with taking down to earth steps towards your goals. This isn't about wishing on the moon and hoping for the best. It's about making something of a list of bullet points about how to achieve your dreams. If you're asking about money, this card heralds a change of financial fortunes depending on both your past actions and what you're expecting and therefore attracting. Attune to the moon. Write down 10 things that you know are wonderful about you. Additional meanings for this card is laziness can explain your current situation. If so, change that and own it. Chasing money doesn't work. You need to chase a dream. Jealousy or envy create negative energy and attract negativity. More exercise is called for. The teaching of this card is the full moon in Taurus is a time to get back to earth, to get grounded, to work through any negative feelings you've been dealing with, and to find a balance between being passionate and being overly intense. Money issues may come to a head at the time of the full moon in Taurus, but you can take this card as a sign to pay more attention to your cash flow no matter when you draw this card. So I think, a lot of us have our ideas and plans in our head, and we don't really know how to implement that into real life. Um, I know someone that if they had a dream of something, they would say for instance you wanted a vacation. Well, then you would take pictures out of a vacation book of where you were going, I don't know, buy a map of the area and just kind of manifest. I know, start a little vacation fund and like work with the universe and say, this is what I want. This is my goal. This is what I'm working towards. And this is why I'm working. I want this vacation really, really bad. And it kind of keeps you on track if you can visualize your dreams instead of just having them all up in your head. You want to be able to visualize that outside of your head, if that makes sense. Talking about the laws of attraction, imagining it, expecting it, and welcoming it, and not taking no for an answer, being like, you know what, no, this is going to happen. I'm not going to let life get in the way. I am going to take this vacation, something like that. Um, so, and then, Taurus is a hardworking sign. They are down to earth and they are a fixed sign, just like Scorpio. And fixed signs don't like change and they're hard headed. So, you can also go in the other direction and be too much of a workaholic, and then you're not paying attention to anything other than that, and then your health can decline. So, you don't want to do that either. It's trying to talk about here the balance of things. And also saying chasing money doesn't work. You need to chase a dream. Just like I say, if you have something you want to manifest, that's a dream, right? And you need to bring it into reality. I don't know who has the saying, but I read it once. It said there are wishers and there's doers. So you don't want to just be wishing, like it said, upon a star. You want to implement that and make it happen for yourself. Sometimes our dreams aren't something we can just achieve tomorrow. They could be long term. They don't. You can't maybe take a vacation tomorrow, but that's just an example, right? All right, let's move on to the new moon card, which is at the end of the month, and see what that one has to say. So, our new moon card for the month is work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. And this new moon is going to be at the end of the month on November 20th, which is a Thursday. So, here's what Moonology book says about it. This card suggests a rebirth. Think of your situation as the phoenix that's rising from the ashes, as the birth, death, and rebirth paradigm. That's what Scorpio energy is all about. Whatever you've been through, there's a new start ahead. It may be a little dark, it almost certainly won't be rainbows and unicorns, but it will be deep and transforming. This card also suggests that if you know you are magical, then this is a time to work your magic. It can also herald the start of a sexier time. If you've been experiencing something of a drought, an emotional intimacy is also on the menu. Scorpio is a sign that likes to go deep into body, mind, and spirit. So when this card comes up, there's nothing superficial about what's coming your way. Attune to the moon. Have some sexy time. Additional meanings for this card is time to let go of a grudge you're holding on, move on from jealousy, stop being obsessive. Can it be you're being paranoid? Make an investment. Teaching of this card is Scorpio is a sign of death and rebirth, magic and shamans. Its energy is a little bit dark, occult, even scary. Not all of us like to face the shadow of Scorpio, but Scorpio demands it. In fact, it's through working through your dark side that you can get to the light. And the new moon in Scorpio and the appearance of this card at any time suggests you need to do that now. I don't know, but I'm a Scorpio sun, Aries moon, but I don't know. Scorpio gets a bad rap, I think. We're kind of like, I don't know. I honestly, this sign is sexualized a lot. Like we're supposed to be the sexy sign. And also we're supposed to be the scariest sign, for some reason. Like we're all supposed to be witches and warlocks or something. But um, I think Scorpios bring out things in people that they probably weren't expecting. You know, I'm thinking, I and that's maybe scary for people. And we're also known as a sign that we are death because the planet is for us Pluto, which is the planet for Hades, for death. So um, I don't know. So I think it's all with scariness with it or something, but it doesn't have to be. I think when it talks about dark times, for instance, if you're going through a transformation, say the caterpillar is going to turn into a butterfly, so the transformation part is going to be when um, inside the caterpillar it all kind of starts transforming and shifting and recreating itself and going to make it into a butterfly. And so that's what transformation is. Yeah, at one time it was a caterpillar crawling on the ground. Now it's something flying in the air. It's completely transformed. It's no longer can go back to being a caterpillar anymore. So that's the beautiful thing about enlightenment or transformation. Once you get there or you're on your way there, there's no like going back. It's like once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Once you know something, you can't say, no, I don't know it. I mean, you could live in the dark and denial, but I don't think Scorpios are like that. I think we're realists, understanding that, like I said, once you know something, you're not going to go back. Once you transform yourself, you don't revert. And our whole goal for the planet, we would hope, is that all of us on our journey will transform ourselves into a better version of ourselves and through the lessons in life and not let those lessons turn us hard and cold. And which they can, because a lot of people go the other direction. They turn angry, hard, and cold from this tough life that we all are experiencing. Um, but that's not going to get us to the higher dimensions. That keeps us grounded to the energy of what's happening here. And we don't want that. We want to kind of overcome that. And this card says work through your fears. So think about what your fears are. Well, what kind of fears do you have currently? Um, and how can you work through them? You might need assistance with that. You might not, it might not be something you can do yourself. Um, I'm just going to throw this out. Say you're a fear of heights. Well, you might not want to go try to fix that on your own. You might want somebody to go with you, is what I'm saying. You might need, if you have a fear of something, you might need a guide on something to get you through that kind of fear. All right, well, that's all I have to say about that. I do have another card to pull tonight because it's supermoon, and apparently there's three supermoons for 2025. There was one last month, and one this month, and one in December. Supermoons mean that the moon is closer to the Earth, so it appears bigger and brighter. I already went outside right now and looked at the moon. I can be honest with you, I did not see it as bigger and brighter than it normally is, but that's what they say. Yeah, it's what NASA says, NASA, NASA, no actual space adventures. That's what they say. So we're gonna go over the super moon here so we can see what that has to say. All right, here's the super moon. Emotions are running high. Emotions are running high. This card suggests that the answer to whatever you're asking is large, like the silvery full moon set against the velvety night sky. If you're wondering how successful something's going to be, such as a job or relationship, the answer is very. The answer to your question may be it's right under your nose. This card is about being larger than life, being special and bursting with energy that you can tune into and work with. You can expect plenty of good things and a positive outcome when this card comes up, but you may find there's a lot of emotion to deal with too. There's also a sense that the opportunities around whatever you're asking about don't come along every day to take action. So take action. Success is close and you must trust. Additional meanings for the card. A resolution to your question is closer than you may think. Don't ignore the obvious. Something exciting lies ahead. Make sure that you don't blow events out of proportion. Speak to the goddess. Ask her for assistance. Teaching of this card is the supermoon is a new or full moon that takes place when the moon is at its closest point to the earth during its monthly orbit. If it's a full moon, the moon appears around 14% bigger at the time. The moon is known as the queen of emotions. And if you draw the supermoon card, regardless of when you do draw it, you can expect your feelings to be more highly charged. So, have you ever noticed yourself behaving or feeling different during full moons or these super moons? I can't say I felt any different today other than I get sometimes tired before I have to do my show and tell stories and I have to take a nap. And I don't know, it's just been happening every time I want to do the video. And I don't know, I guess I needed a power nap. But I don't know. I Some people are more um, sensitive to energies of the moon and they can feel different on maybe days like it's kind of like being sensitive to weather changes. And people are like, oh, I already know it's going to rain. My bones hurt. Maybe there's people out there that are super sensitive to the moon changes. I know as a nurse, when we used to work, well, I when I used to work the full moon nights, I regretted it because people did act different. Um, People didn't sleep very well, and they kind of were, yeah, at their kind of like flamboyant selves. I guess it brought out something in them. I don't know, and it didn't bring out anything too good because they weren't pleasant to take care of during full moons. Um, so I do think people behave a little bit different. The moon pulls on water. We're mostly made of water, so why would it not pull on our energies? It wouldn't make sense if it's making our waves in the ocean during full moons. So what is it doing to our bodies? I don't know. I haven't read any studies on that. It'd be kind of interesting to see what exactly, especially in psychiatry, what is the full moon doing to our brains? It's something that I don't have the answer to, and but it would be something to that I would find interesting to research. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the full moon tonight. Stick with me because I'm gonna go over our mystery November show item, and you're gonna really like this, I think. So hang in there. We'll see you in a bit. Well, what do you think's in the mystery box for November? Well, my son just got back from Canada and he brought me back something. It's in the mystery box, and I'll give you a clue. It's something that represents something, and it involves stones, and it's very ancient. And let's see what else I can tell you. And it's all over different areas of Canada and has been around for thousands of years. So here's what I'm going to, it come with a little card. It says Canada on it. It has this picture of this stone little guy on here, and it's called Inishuk. And you're like, what the heck is that, Roxanne? Here is the stone. This isn't thousands of years old. This is a replica. Okay, I'm going to talk about what this represents. And it's not like stacking stones like last month, how I, in a way it is, but it's not like it has a purpose more than just, oh, we're going to stack some stones or something like that. So I'm going to read to you what this little guy represents. Has basically two legs in the middle, arms, and something for a head. The Nusuk is Inuit for the image of man. These figures, fashioned from stone, originated from the Canadian Arctic and were created by the Inuit people as communication markers for survival. The purpose of the Inuit, oh, I'm sorry, in Inishuk, Inishuk, um, was to act as signposts to indicate the best and safest passageway across desolate and treeless tundra. So, um, I wasn't in my mind. I was thinking, okay, well, I wonder how big these are. So I looked up online on Google Images, and I want you guys to look this up if you're interested. This word here on the bottom, look up that word slash Canada or whatever. And what you're going to see is these mile markers that were put are big to the point where, you know how we would use a lighthouse on the edge of the sea? So we would find our way back and we would know that's the right port to go into or to, same thing they use like these for, like that would be similar to what we would use a lighthouse for. The and they're big. And told myself, how would they stack those size stones for being just a small tribe? You know, the Inuits are small. These stones are thousands of pounds. Like, how did they do that? And then they're all over the Arctic. And a lot of them, like I said, are also on the edge of the sea. So when ships would come in, they would be like, "Okay, here's my location. These are mile markers for travel." In the time of no cell phones and stuff like that, they had a way of communication, and this was how they communicated their safe passageways. And they knew they had probably put stones that were going to last thousands of years or a very long time. And so they've stood the time and they're still there today all over the Arctic. And my son went to Toronto, and there is one right there in Toronto as well. I told him, "Did you go see it?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, next time you go up there, I want you to take a picture next to it. But take a look online how big these kind of like statues, stone stacking statues of man are. They're humongous. So I found that very interesting and a very touching gift that he gave me because now it can fit right up here on the ledge next to my owl. I got this little ledge here, so everything tiny can fit up there. So that's a perfect gift. Thank you, my son. Love you. All right. I hope you have a nice full moon tonight. Go outside and look at this grand super moon, so bright and so big, which I didn't see it. It looks like the same to me, but oh, I do want to mention something that happened to me last month. So the day after I did the full moon, you can see the full moon like a couple days before, the day of, and maybe one day after before it starts looking not like full anymore. So the following day, I went out in the morning to walk the dog. It was probably, maybe 6 o'clock. It was still kind of dark out though. I looked up and I was like, okay, the moon's still there. It's still full. And then I walked a little ways and I saw another moon in the sky and towards the other direction. I said, no, no, there is literally two moons in the sky right now. And I kind of like I was taken back by it. And I thought, I'm gonna go and wake these kids up. I don't care. They're sleeping. They're not gonna believe anything I say. They have to come out here and see it for themselves that there literally is two moons in the sky. So I thought, well, you know what? It's not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna just walk the dog. He takes about 15, 20 minutes, and then I'll go wake them up. By the time I finish walking the dog, the other moon that I had originally seen in the other direction of the sky was gone. So I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I don't even know what's real anymore. I don't think any of us do, and especially with all this crazy stuff of what they say is in the skies and this three-eye atlas and all that, and it's kind of freaking people out. Tell you guys, don't you worry about any of that stuff because we don't control any of that. And, yeah, we're probably not, definitely not alone in the universe. So are we going to worry about what's happening up there or if there's hostiles or there's friendlies? What can we do about it? There's a guy online and he used to say, what's your biggest thing to worry about is what's happening outside your front door. And I took that saying to heart, and I believe fully that that's what's important. Worry about what's outside happening outside your front door. Everything else you can't be stressing out and worrying about. I mean, I'm definitely not worried about it. I was just kind of surprised that I saw two moons in the sky. And I guess people have seen that or able to photograph it or something. But nowadays, if you photograph, it won't matter. Everybody's going to say it's fake. Um, Now they have an excuse for everything, or they've seen two suns in the sky, or whatever, and they're gonna say, "No, that's not an extra sun." But it doesn't matter what you see, because people are gonna debunk it and say it's fake, or say you made it up. Um, so what can I say? I guess your two eyes might lie. I don't know. I know I saw a second moon, and it was not in the same spot. It was on the other side, and the original full moon from the night before was in the exact same spot. It had moved. It hadn't moved across the sky. That's another thing I've been noticing because I do pay attention to the moon, like where it's positioned, and a lot of times it's not in the right spot. So I don't know what's changed in the universe, or I don't know all that, but all I know is when I look up and what I see. But I thought I'd share that because if you guys do run across and you see a couple moons here and there, I mean, it's possible. So don't freak out. Just see it and be like, okay, wow, interesting. It's like seeing a rainbow. Are you gonna freak out over that? You know, you can't. Or you see the northern lights, you gonna freak out over that? No, you shouldn't. And there's so many things we don't know about. Maybe we are gonna experience a different moon in the sky because I found it kind of interesting on the Weather Channel. It was saying full moon and it was saying some other thing like dark moon or I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? Like two different kind of so I don't know. We'll see what happens in the near future.
It's ghost story time, and today's story is brought to you from the Big Book of Texas Ghost Stories by Alan Brown. And today's story is called Demon's Road in Huntsville, Texas. From all appearances, Huntsville, home to Sam Houston State University, is a typical college town, but one of its roads is anything but typical. The town was founded in 1836 and was the home of Samuel Houston, who served as President of the Republic of Texas and Governor to the state of Texas. Today, Huntsville's reputation lies in more than its university and its historic buildings. Huntsville is also known for Demon's Road, which runs through the city. The road's real name is Bowden Road. People living in Huntsville first realized that something was wrong with Demon's Road in 1890 when a farmer plowing his field was dragged into the woods by a dark entity enveloped in mist and subsequently murdered. The fact that the historic road leads to Martha's Chapel Cemetery has not helped its reputation. People driving along the road at night claim to have driven past old houses that were not there in the daytime. Shadowy figures wrapped in fog have been seen lurking in the woods. People who drove along Demon's Road have discovered that they drove 10 miles more than the actual length of the road. A few people have picked up hitchhikers along the road only to discover that they have vanished a few minutes later. Drivers have also seen red lights flickering in the woods along Demon's Road. The number of lights always corresponds to the number of people in the car. More than 100 drivers have reported finding handprints on their cars. It seems as if someone was trying to grab onto their cars on Demon's Road. Once again, a number of handprints in the same number of the people riding in the car. A child with glowing eyes riding a tricycle makes an occasional appearance on the road. Some people swear that the spectral figures they encountered on Demon's Road and in the cemetery followed them home. Writer Dana Gouldsby tells the story of a woman and her husband who drove down Demon's Road to Martha's Chapel Cemetery in May 2010. While they were looking at tombstones, she saw a man walking through the cemetery. A few days later, the woman was getting ready to take a shower. She was about to shut the curtains when she saw a strange man standing in her bedroom. He was the same man she had seen roaming around the cemetery. In the mid 1980s, people began spreading rumors that Satanists were performing rituals in the woods along Demon's Road. Reports of slaughtered animals laying on the ground and robed figures running through the woods eventually reached the ears of the local police, who, for a while, cautioned people against stopping along the road. The road's evil reputation has not stopped young lovers and teenage boys eager to prove their manhood from venturing onto the road late at night. Actually, it seems that Demon's Road primary attraction is not so much of its alleged links to the devil as it is to the aura of mystery that hangs over the old road at every turn. Well, I kind of find that interesting about the handprints because when I did the ghost story about the handprints that were left on the cars at the railroad tracks in San Antonio last month was the same kind of happening there as well that was reported. And so this is also reported too, but it said hundreds of people reported handprints. So it's just not a few people, but it said hundreds. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to travel Demon's Road at late at night. What if your car stalled out or something crazy? You never know. So anyway, just some story to think about. Well, I hope you guys have a nice full moon tonight. Go outside, get some moon energy in you. Charge your crystals, make some moon water. I'll see you next month in November. Well, we're already did November. I'll see you next month in December. The year went so fast. So we'll see you. Have a nice full moon.